In his heart plans his course, but the Lord determines his steps. Proverbs 16:9. When Jesus said, "Blessed are the meek, for they shall inherit the earth," could he have meant spineless and spiritless? I doubt it. He could have meant the people who were patient and mild and not inclined to anger, but I don't believe that was his primary meaning of meek. I believe Jesus got his definition of meek from the Old Testament use of the word. We should try our best to get the correct meaning of this important word to understand how meaningful it is. The Bible says in chapter 61 of Isaiah, "The Spirit of the Lord is upon me because the Lord has anointed me to preach good tidings unto the meek. He has sent me to bind up the brokenhearted, to proclaim liberty to the captives, and the opening of prisons to them that are bound." In Isaiah, meek is connected to the word brokenness and need. Now, the 37th Psalm says that those that wait on the Lord shall inherit the earth. And the psalm goes on, "But the meek shall inherit the earth and shall delight themselves in the abundance of peace." And here it seems that meekness is waiting on to be led by the Spirit. And we are like the Psalms. We are waiting on the Lord. Meekness is beginning available to God's will. Meekness is being soft like clay. Meekness is being ready and willing, and with God's help, able to do his work in this world, but broken and needing him to make us whole. In the word meek is a reality of our smallness and the understanding of that without God, we will stay poor and broken. Now, Moses is the only person in the Bible who actually described as meek. Moses was not a public speaker, but he was available to do the will of God, just like many of us are. And so to this meek man, God said, "Now therefore go, and I will be with your mouth and will teach you what you should say." Yes, he told Moses he would tell him what he should say. Waiting for God is preparing. The Bible prepares us. Prayer prepares us. Silent listening does too. But more important than that are the attitudes we have when we wait. Are we hopeful? Are we expectant? Do we believe miracles can happen in our lives? Yes, is the meek answer. Another way to think about meek is giving up. But think of it this way: we have personal will. Instead of listening to self will, we give ourselves up to God's will. The meek person says, "I'm not the boss anymore," standing in the way of saying, this is his pride. We get in the way of being our best selves, and we also have to get out of our way. The part of us that wants to run the show and wants others to know how wonderful we are has to step out of the way so God can make us really wonderful. Now we begin to feel that directions move us, and we start to understand what Paul meant. In all things, God is working for good. When we accept our meekness, we begin to sense that we are a part of that good. And what is our reward? The earth. Now the 37th Psalm said, those who waited on the Lord, the meek, were going to inherit the earth. And this was the promise of the land. Even though Jesus repeated the Psalm statement about meek inheriting the earth word for word, I believe there was something new in his promise. What the meek inherit is the responsibility for the earth. We become available to God on this earth and become willing to serve his will on the earth. We become a part of God's hands, voice, and caring love on the earth. Acceptance of the promise carries responsibility. Responsibility is a part of our relationship with God. Along with our willingness to accept God's ways for our lives comes the responsibility of him to ourselves and now to the world around us. This is being meek. In our meekness, our willingness, our losses are few. There we glimpse the life God has in store for us. We don't see into the future, but we do feel a sense of God's willing to go in front of us. Our lives are led in a single direction. This is also what a meek person does. It's what Moses did and what Jesus and Peter and Paul did. It is becoming available to the power of God. How do we become available? One thing we can do is wait. Wait on the Lord, who shall renew our strength. And we don't like to wait. We feel useless when we wait. But we wait for everything and everybody. So we must wait on the Lord. When we accept our meekness, we begin to sense that we are a part of that good. And what is our reward? As was said before, the earth.